Hey, this is going to be my absolutely last tutorial of version 2. This is the partner of a tutorial I just recorded and came out a few days ago for you guys. Right now I'm in the US. I'm in California, Nevada and Idaho, and then going home from Montana at the end. I'm going to do a road trip, and so I'm recording this in advance, and this is the tutorial about the use of templates in version 2, and I'm going to talk to you about multi-rocket launchers today. So I've set up the board. It's the same one as the last video. Here we go. Right. So this is my situation. This is my Soviets from the Bolt Action Library here in Denmark, painted by Simon Brecken. And these guys are standing next to this house. Unfortunately, the enemy has a Nebelwerfer, or whatever. Imagine whatever you like. Doesn't really matter at this point. So the enemy wants to shoot at this concentration of force here, because there's quite a lot of units here, right? There's quite a lot of units, and they potentially this could be really bad for the Soviet player. So they're going to fire their multi-rocket launcher. Now, what target to pick? That is the interesting question, because there are different choices here. This here is a Stuart. It has recce, because it's a Soviet Stuart and can buy recce. We have a truck over here with an officer next to it. We have a house here, and we have an infantry unit here. Now, if they shoot at the infantry unit, when they place the template, all they have to do is max out. They have to max out how many people they hit, and then from the template, everything that's within 6 inches, so that would be the Stuart and the house, would get hit. If they could have placed it in another location, we could have maybe gotten these guys as well. But since that's it, that would mean 3 dice rolled. So for these guys, they of course have the option of going down. They're not hit. The Stuart does not have an option at this point, because it's not the target of an attack. It is getting splash damage from the multi-rocket launcher, so it can't recce. And it gets hit on a 6. That template will have to be placed in the center of the Stuart, because remember, when you're placing templates, it has to be in the center of vehicles, right? And then the house is not hit. So the Stuart is, of course, in trouble at this point from the multi-rocket launcher. But I think we can do better. I think we can do more. What about if we target the Stuart, right? That would give us a perfect shot at everything here. That would mean the officer. That would mean the truck. That would mean the house. That would mean them. Everything here. But the Stuart has recce. So what happens if we target the Stuart is that it tries to get away, right? It'll do a recce move. So it'll move up and turn and move over here. That means we have the same 3 units, but we can't get all of them, right? It might even be able to move out of line of sight, which would be bad, because then the shot would be wasted. So for us, firing the multi-rocket launcher, we don't really want to shoot at the recce vehicle unless I'm absolutely sure that recce vehicle cannot get away. So, for instance, a Stuart that's, I don't know, placed like something like this, right? That would be difficult for the Stuart, because it only has 1 turn still to really get away, right? So I don't want to shoot at the Stuart. What about if I shoot at the officer? Now the officer, that's a perfect shot. Look at that, because I can place it however I want to. I just have to cover the officer, right? So the officer would be a good shot. 6 inches would mean that I would roll for the naval infantry, I would roll for the Stuart, I would roll for the house, I would roll for the truck, and the officer, of course. So that would be a lot of units. And I think we can get some of them at least, right? The naval infantry would get a 2, the Stuart would get a 4. Still cannot recce because it's not the target. House would get a 5. The truck, ooh, everyone's surviving, and yeah, they all managed to escape. But that was 5 rolls to hit, right? You can see I sort of maxed out. And had I hit the truck or the officer, I think one or both of them would have been in real trouble, right? Now, it's worse with the house, because if I hit that, you see, the template has to go in the center of the house. Yeah, the house might collapse, but it won't actually affect anything else. But you have to roll for it, because it might collapse the house completely. What about if I target the truck here? Now, the truck, I think, unfortunately, is not a good target, because that would mean, yeah, the naval infantry is out. So that would only be these 4 units, because, again, I have to place it centrally over the truck. So the officer would get hit, which would, again, splash onto the vehicle, potentially killing that. The vehicle is not hit. The house is not hit. The steward is not hit. But that hit on the officer, right? Because it's a 3+, so the officer is absolutely dead on a 3. The splash damage onto the truck would mean that on a 6 that is damaged, and on a 3 that is on fire, because a 6, that's a 9 with a +3, right? Actually, it's double damage because it's 3 or more above. So it would be on fire first, and then it would be on fire again. So it will need to take 2 tests, and of course the officer at that point would be dead. So it would be in a bad situation, would potentially fail one or both of these tests, and that will lose 2 units. So it can be really, really tricky to figure out which unit you want to shoot at with multi-rocket launchers, but pick an infantry unit where you can, and especially like small infantry one-man teams, because you can suddenly push it quite far. That's a nice little trick for version 2 here at the end of it, because you can really push that template out. And because you're still measuring from the inside of the template here on a 3-inch multi-rocket launcher, you can really push it quite far out where you want it to go. That is the trick. That was the final words of the final tutorial of Bolt Action Tutorials by Bolt Mortens for version 2. I will see you in version 3. Cheers.